Howdy y'all, and welcome back to Chill with Clayton. Today is a Chill with Clayton Extra. Yes, indeed. Like I said last week, today we officially have the official review. And yes, before I start the movie review, if you have not seen Bad Counselors, it is totally okay. You can watch my unspoiler movie review. That's over on my Instagram page. So just letting you know. But if you do want to know about the spoilers of the film, hey, you're at the right place. We'll be talking about the movie right here in just a moment. But, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first ever Chill with Clayton video, we are happy to welcome you here, even though it is absolutely baking in Texas, because Texas heat in August is crazy, and the humidity sometimes gets nuts, but that's besides the point. But welcome to the show. Today's show, like I said, will be a Bad Counselors movie review. I'll explain more of that here in just a moment. But if you have not seen any other Chill with Clayton content, we got plenty of great content that you can come and check out. I got 2 playlists, actually, that I made specifically for this. On my page, you can see Chill with Clayton episodes or Chill with Clayton extras, and you can watch the full playlist. There you go. But also, if you want to connect with Chill with Clayton, you can connect with us on Instagram at Chill with Clayton. You can connect with us on email at chillwithclayton@gmail.com. You can also listen to the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. And then hopefully, I'm going to be trying to refurbish this, but for our Facebook group, it's a little difficult because I made it, for some reason, we made it private in the beginning because, But whenever it goes public, I will make sure to get that all going off the ground. So that's why there hasn't been much posts on there. But if you want to still see the daily Bible verses, which, by the way, have an awesome beach theme, I was like, when I first looked at it, when Mike gave them to me last week, I'm like, oh, we're at the beach. Okay, I like this. So if you want to check out the beach-themed verses for August, you can check that out right now. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into a movie review. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Chill with Clayton film review. Now, yes, this is my first ever film review. Now, if you kind of like this concept of what we're doing, I'd be willing to review some other films or TV shows or whatever. Like, one of my favorite movies was Facing the Giants, which was a 2009 Christian movie classic. If you Remember the Titans, you'll like Facing the Giants, by the way. That's into football season. That'll be a great film. Shout out to football season actually starting tonight. The Hall of Fame game is on, so if anyone didn't know that, that is being filmed today on Thursday, by the way. The video, the episode that you will be seeing, that will be coming out on Saturday. But that's besides the point. So, as you all know, a couple weeks ago, I had been talking about this last month. I've been talking big time about the movie Bad Counselors. I promised y'all last week that I had a movie review ready for y'all today, and yes, I do. And as you can see, also, I am wearing the official t-shirt. As you can see right here, I'm wearing the official t-shirt that the cast, well, now the cast didn't exactly wear this t-shirt that I'm wearing, but they wore replicas of this t-shirt. The camp that you see right here, I'm going to move my sunglasses out of the way for a second, but the camp that you're seeing right here, Camp Burning Bush, is where the official church, the official camp name is called. Now, before I get into the movie review, I wanted to say that this movie was all filmed here in America. Yes, so America! America. So pretty cool to see that this all got filmed in the USA. Mainly, most of the filming happened in Charlotte, North Carolina, funny enough. So there was also some big colleges that it got filmed out in Carolina. You can see that in the credits of the film. I'll even list some of them down in the description of where they actually filmed. But to get into the actual first start of the movie review, I kind of want to give you a quick little plot synopsis of what's going on. So we start the movie at a fraternity house, and you might be asking me, wait, Clayton, why are we starting at a fraternity house in a Christian movie? Well, here's the thing, and I will tell you this, folks, this movie is rated PG-13. Now, yes, I know a lot of people are going, is there language or anything like that? No, there's not language. there's just some scenarios, like drinking, partying, college life that needed the PG-13 rating, because you can't really do college partying in a G rating. Like, it might be a little difficult to do that. So this is a PG-13 movie, but it's mainly kind of a lower PG-13 rating. But for the thematics that are going on and for the realness of the story, that's why I needed a PG-13 rating. So we follow our two main characters, which are Grayson and Tyler, who are two fraternity brothers. And college, it's their senior year, and they're planning like one of the biggest parties, the senior year special. It's like gonna be the biggest party of the year. And then we get introduced to one of their I wouldn't call them the lackey, but I called them like their servant, one of the freshmen. His name is Pork Chop. Yes, that's what they nicknamed him. They nicknamed him Pork Chop. And Pork Chop's kind of like the guys where Grayson and the rest of the guys will go like, Pork Chop, go get some beer. Go get the drinks. Go get the cups. Go get the party stuff. You know what I mean? And I mean, if anyone's ever been in a frat, they probably had someone like Pork Chop who's like going to get all the stuff. Like the freshmen do that. Like that's what the seniors are going to do to the freshmen, because that's what happens to the freshmen. They usually get they have to get their feet wet, and they got to make sure everything goes well. But so they're getting the party set up. But then the officer, the lady officer, her name was Officer Montgomery. She comes up and she's going like, are we planning a party here, gentlemen? Is there a party going on? And they're going like, no. It's just a big old study session, which is a box full of lies. Like, really? Like, do you think red Solo cups are going to be used for a study session? I don't think so. I don't remember in the Toby Keith song of them looking at their books and writing down flashcards. I don't remember that. So they make sure to get by it and everything, and they have to go and get the beer and all the drinks. And after they kind of get caught, they're like, well, let's go think of something else. So they end up going into town, and they want to go to this local bar. But here's the thing. The local bar is right across from the church. And Grayson and Tyler thought they walked into the bar, but they ended up walking into the young adult church night. And so they're walking in, and they're going like, okay, oh, look, hey. And Grayson's like, dude, go talk to the girls. Everything will be fine. We'll be chill. But then they start worshiping. The pastor, his name is Zion. Pastor Zion. What a name. Pastor Zion. And he's like the young adults pastor there, and everything's going swimmingly. And Grayson and Tyler are like fishes out of water here, going like, okay, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. Why would we even be here? Then another character we get introduced to is kind of like the young adult greeter and all that. And his name's Dallas. And Dallas is kind of like chilling and having a good time. And then, he talks about the upcoming youth camp and needing volunteers. And as Grayson and Tyler are walking out, they run into Becky. Now, Becky is going to be a very important character for Tyler here very shortly because, well, I'll explain that as we go. But, and she's like, oh my gosh, y'all are an answered prayer. We needed 2 guy counselors. And so Grayson and Tyler are like, what? We can't do that. And they walk out, and they ended up over at the bar, and they get all wasted and stuff. And then they end up at the police station where that Officer Montgomery's going like, oh boy, you boys are in big trouble because they might get expelled from college on their senior year. They might get expelled. And the officer tells them, hey, y'all need to do some community service hours. So Grayson and Tyler are like, what in the world are we going to do? What in the world are we going to do? And then they remember about the whole camp counselor gig, and they're like, well, I mean, it might not be as hard as we thought. So next day is getting ready for church. And you see Grayson's all dressed up nicely, looking good. And then here comes Tyler with a I can't remember what they officially called it in the film, but it was like a promise keychain or something. And they run into another guy who's also wearing that promise keychain, which is actually one of the biggest Instagram Christian influencers, aka Joe Christian guy. But he's known as Harry the Hippie, I think is what his name was. If I'm wrong, I'll fix it in the description. But his name's Harry the Hippie, and Harry's kind of like your typical Christian bro, and he's like, "Hey guys, what's up? Are y'all doing good?" Like, drinking his coffee. You know those people at church. But they walk in to this church and they're going like, what in the world is happening? And then they get ready to meet the pastor. His name is Pastor Tom. Now, funny enough, a funny thing about Pastor Tom, the actor who played Pastor Tom, one of his first roles was American Pie. Now, that is a totally different film that is, not to be seen by kids. Definitely not to be seen by kids. But he is known as Pastor Tom, and he has an interview with Grayson and Tyler. And Grayson and Tyler are trying to work anything Christian or whatever they can do. I mean, one of the funniest moments, and I'm going to stand up for this a little bit, but Tyler goes like this. He goes, "Blessed be to you, Father." And everybody in the theater absolutely lost it in this moment. So it's like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? Yeah, so it's pretty funny in that moment. But going from there, he interviews the guys. Grayson says, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been helping out with sports camp, so I know a little something about kids." And then Tyler's kind of like following along because Grayson's pushing him to follow him along with this scheme, even though they know that they have nothing, haven't worked with kids ever, they know nothing about Jesus, and they know nothing about church camp. They can't do camp. So when we get into the church camp environment, we get to the next scene, which is the first day of camp and them loading up the buses. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to finish the whole camp segment right after this. So like I said, we're going to be at the beginning of camp. So we're seeing the bus, we're seeing all the kids getting loaded up and everything. And, everything's going smoothly. And then Grayson meets what I would call the girl next door of this film. And her name is Jenna. Now, Jenna seems like this she's this really sweet girl, really sweet, caring girl. But here's the thing. Her dad's the pastor. But the funniest scene, one of the funny scenes here is when Grayson and Jenna first meet for the first time. He goes, "Okay, do you need any help with this?" And with the luggage. And she's like, yeah, I do need some help. And he grabs the pillow. The pillow! Meanwhile, we see Tyler over here in the background carrying like 2 different suitcases and 2 other things. And he's just carrying it like going like, and Jenna's like, "Wait, why aren't you doing that?" And he's like, oh, no. He's just a little crazier. He sometimes he'll get over crazy and he'll carry too much stuff, so, and all that. But then here's when her dad comes into the picture. Pastor Tom comes into the picture, and Grayson's like, "Oh boy, like, yeah, you're kind of seeing that the dad's going like, oh great, one of the guys that I know is a fraternity brother, of course, is now trying to hit on my daughter." So lovely fun for him, but one of the other funny moments, Matt Cornett, who plays Grayson in this film, he throws the backpack and he absolutely missed the bus. Absolutely missed it. And it's funny and hilarious. And then we get onto the bus. We get introduced to Dallas again, which I'll explain more here in a minute. But then we get introduced to the 2 main kids of the film, which are Patrick and Shadow. Now, Patrick is more this kind of, he's kind of more of a kid that's kind of more, he's not as outgoing as many people. He's a little more shyer. The kid that's kind of just like sitting in the back, if you know what I mean. And Grayson is paired up with him. And he talks to him. Then we got the gamer, who is Shadow. Now, Shadow, we figure out what his name is in a pretty poignant part of the film, which I'll get into here in a minute. But Shadow, he's a big old gamer. You see him on a Switch, and he's playing some kind of game, and Tyler even recognizes it and is like, yeah, this is so cool. But then Dallas is like, excuse me, but we cannot have any electronics when we get to camp, so just letting you know that. And all that kind of goes down. You see them heading onto the bus. All the kids arrive at camp, which is, yes, this camp, Camp Burning Bush, which I think was also filmed in Carolina, which is in North Carolina, which is pretty cool. So all the kids, all the counselors arrive. Everything's going nice and swimmingly. Then we get introduced to one of the big plot points of the film, which is the ending of the week skit, which is actually going to be co-directed by Patrick, who is one of the students, because Jenna promised him that he would be like a co-director of the film of this skit, because Patrick's really, really, really excited about this skit. He's really excited about it. And so we move on throughout the film, and we see Grayson and Tyler trying to fit in, trying to keep up with the shtick of them being camp counselors and all that. We try to see them try to fill this shtick. You see Dallas and Becky becoming these 80s characters during the dinner time. And, of course, you see camp dinner, which is just like, just regular school lunch. You know what a summer camp lunch looks like and all that. Then we get into the nighttime, the first night, where Dallas goes, hey, you need to give me that Switch. And he takes the Switch from Shadow, and of course Shadow's like, man, like, really? Like, I can't have my Switch right now? And then, and that's another plot. Like, I mean, there's a whole lot of different camp plots that you see, but some of the bigger plots that come in this film is one of the relationships of the film is between Patrick and the companionship that we see between Patrick and Grayson. The next day, when they get into a capture the flag contest, Patrick is, of course, picked last, and he feels absolutely just like, why is nobody picking me? Like, why in the heck am I here at camp? Like, those kids. And he's like, man, like, what am I doing here? And Grayson tries to build back his confidence up, and Grayson goes, hey, like, come on, let's go back to that costume drawer, which was from the play, and they get all dressed up. They got the eye black on. They got the Team Blue headband, and they're just rocking out. And then I think they walked out to like an 80s song together, looking like just that awesome like camp duo. And it's a pretty cool moment where we see, like, of course, a little bit of flirtation between Jenna and Grayson. And Jenna's trying to capture the flag from Grayson, but Grayson's like, no, I don't have the flag. And Patrick actually had the flag, and he gets carried off in a hero's victory, which is super cool for him to see that happen for him. And it's so cool to see that. And then you also have the other plot point of of Tyler and Becky, where Becky is very much one of those, one of those people that goes like when you're at a Christian college or at church camp or whatever, and they go, "Oh my gosh, I seen you in my vision. You're the man I'm gonna marry." And specifically how she explained this was with two trees. And the two trees, and one of the trees was supposed to be her, and the other tree looked like Tyler. Which for a guy who's, for the first time at camp and seeing a girl that's, kind of crushing on him, and you're like, what the heck? This is kind of crazy here. Like, what's going on here, y'all? What's going on here? But, yeah. So throughout the film, we see that Grayson, at the beginning of the film, I forgot to mention this, he had a work opportunity that you see at the beginning. And he's checking back on it during free time, and one of the kids is like, wait, why are you on your phone? And I'm pretty sure if you've been a counselor before at a camp, you're like, okay, like, yeah, I have to check something. And so Grayson checks in on his fellow frat brothers, and they're checking in on him, seeing how he's doing and everything and all that. But that's when we get into the main plot point, when Dallas looks up and he sees and he finds out, that Grayson's account is private. But when he looks at Tyler's account, he sees all the frat activities. And come to find out, also earlier on in the film, we see that Dallas has a crush on Jenna. And when Dallas finds out about Grayson and Tyler being fraternity brothers and them going off on drinking adventures and partying crazy and all that, Dallas kind of protective of Jenna. And Jenna's not falling for it. She's like, what? Like, really? Like, you're jumping to crazy conclusions here. You're jumping to absolute crazy conclusions. So that's like one of the subplots of this film. But one of my favorite plot points of the film is when we get back into the relationship between the kids and the counselor. One of the moments was at the lake later on in the film with Tyler and Shadow. And now Tyler's like, man, like, he's seeing all this stuff going on, and Shadow reveals that his real name is actually Liam. And Liam tells him, like, yeah, I've been wearing a mask, and that's why I call myself Shadow. And Tyler kind of, feels the same thing because he's kind of removing the mask of what he felt like because he's been a fraternity bro all his entire life. And then one of the funniest parts of the film is like when he has to jump in the water to hide from Becky, and then he comes out going, oh, thanks, Liam. Thanks for the assist. Then we see also Grayson and Jenna growing more together as, Jenna's figuring out, like, do you really, like, what's your past about? And, of course, Grayson's not going to say anything or he's going to lie about it because, if he told her the truth, like, you never know what she'd feel about that. And we get into the big climax of the film where before that, we've seen another moment with Patrick and Grayson where Patrick's cup got broken, but Grayson helped him fix it. And funny enough, this will become a bigger plot here in a moment. But the night of the thing, we see that Dallas has figured out what's going on with Grayson and Tyler. And Grayson gets mad at Tyler because, oh my gosh, you kept the account, you had your account public, and everyone's seen the picture. So he gets upset with him. And they end up getting into a fight. And what happens is that the one of the lights falls down and a fire breaks down on the stage. And a fire absolutely burns down the stage. And you see, and then also in that moment, Dallas raised up the level of volume so we could hear what Tyler and Grayson were saying. And everybody knows about their whole thing now. Everyone knows about it. And they get kicked out of camp, and then they got to figure out, like, how are we going to get back? And Grayson, first thing he thinks of is, like, keep on partying. But then he sees the cup that Patrick made him, and he's like, what have I been doing? Like, what is going on? Because even Pastor Tom told him, like, I've been through what y'all have been doing. That's why I gave y'all the second chance, but then you burned down the camp. You burned down the stage. And it's just such an interesting part of the film. So to, shut the plot down real quickly, Grayson and Tyler grab their fraternity bros and they say, hey, let's go fix up that stage. They go fix the stage. The skit happens. It's a beautiful skit, absolutely awesome skit. A lot of dancing going on in it. And then we see the reconciliation between, Patrick and Grayson, because, Patrick and Liam, who was with Liam, who was Tyler was Liam's counselor, they felt heartbroken when they seen their boys, like, getting, driven away. So they reconcile with one another. Grayson asks Jenna out on a coffee date. And then the funniest moment of the film, Tyler actually proposes to Becky, funny enough. And I'm like, really? Like, you, the crazy girl? And, like, even though she was so crazy and all that. But, yeah. And I'm going to wrap this up here in just a moment. All the plot kind of gets reconciled. You see, like I said, Grayson and Jenna get ready for their first coffee date ever. And you see Tyler and Becky are now engaged. So, like, her crazy dreams worked. Funny how God works, I guess. But yeah, then we see camp ends. You see the reconciliation between everybody. Everybody gives them another chance. And, like, to talk about this film, a lot. Like, this film, Bad Counselors, even though I know I summed it up pretty quickly, this film is just so much like you have to go see it for yourself, because the relationships that the kids have with the counselors is very true. You see the different relationships that everyone has with each other. You see some pretty cool guest stars. Like, I forgot to mention that Corey Asbury was like one of the worship leaders at the camp. Like, he's the guy that he's the camp worship leader. Like, he goes around and sings one of his original songs to the campers, which is super cool. There's a lot of different funnier moments where the theater was absolutely laughing. Like, when Pastor Tom sees Grayson and Jenna talking during camp, and he's like, and he's got to pick a counselor, and he goes, then he sees a name, and it's like, no, Grayson, you're the camp counselor that's going to get makeup all over himself, because it's the punishment and all that kind of fun stuff. So there's like different camp elements, but like, this film captured what the Christian's life's like. Like, it captured what it's like. It captured, like, seeing two frat bros, two broken humans, but they get redeemed through camp, even though they didn't know it would even work. Or, it's funny how God works, Like, he makes bad things good. Like, like for Grayson and Tyler being arrested and possibly getting expelled from school, like, yeah, that's a terrible situation. But God provided them a chance to be counselors, even though they might have been the least qualified people to do it. But he gave them an opportunity. Pastor Tom gave them the opportunity. And they seen the connections that they made with kids and all that different stuff. And it's just so true, yet so poignant at the same time. The thing I want you to remember about Bad Counselors is it's funny, it's hilarious, it's heartwarming. There are poignant moments. It reminded me of like an 80s John Hughes film mixed with National Lampoons. It was like a Christian National Lampoons film. And it was so much fun to see a story that makes so much sense in real life, but work with a Christian film. And it didn't feel cheesy. It didn't feel like Bible bashing you over the head. It felt like just like one of those films where you take one of your maybe non-Christian buddies and they might recognize some of the actors and actresses in the film, and they might go, yeah, I want to go watch that. Because like Matt Cornett, he was like in one of the big Amazon shows recently. Breck Bassinger was also in the film. She was like in one of the Nickelodeon shows back in the day, and also in Stargirl, which is, yes, about the DC Comics film. Like the guy who played Pastor Tom, he was part of the American Pie franchise, which your parents might recognize, and they're going to go like, wait, he's in this film? But it's kind of like, but like I said, this film is so special because it captures what Christian summer camp is like, but what the change and impact of like what camp can be for kids and even counselors. So, y'all, whenever Bad Counselors comes out on streaming, or if it's still playing in theaters, which you can go find out at badcounselors.com/tickets, I will let y'all know. I will definitely let you know when it comes out to streaming. I got a good feeling it'll probably be on Prime Video or Angel or whatever. But I know this was kind of a quick review of the film. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. And by the way, if you want any more movie reviews, I'd be more than welcome to do them again. And y'all, I'm just so thankful that you watched the Chill With Clayton podcast. And we're just so happy to have y'all once again to enjoy the episode. Remember, like and subscribe to our channel. And as I always say, y'all, don't mess with Texas, y'all. Keep Jesus first. God bless everybody. And as I always say, YEEHAW! All right, y'all. Have a blessed day.